Welcome to Game Nights with JR. I'm JR, and I'm here to introduce the feature games for our January 2026 game nights. These are the games that are going to be set up and ready to play when you arrive, and games that'll be ready for me to teach so that you don't have to read a rule book or anything. You can just enjoy playing. Now, you might be thinking, hey, JR, I watched your December video. Isn't that the exact same sweater that you were wearing then? And I would say, yes, it is. Thanks for pointing that out. And no, I didn't make a mistake. This actually ties into one of the feature games for this month. Please don't rush me. Anyway, as I was saying, the feature games this month are all winter themed. And again, I know you're going to interrupt and say, hey, JR, why are you doing cold themed games when it's like 70 degrees in Texas right now? Are you one of those like climate change deniers? And I would say, no, of course not. When they say climate change, they don't mean that the world is that every individual place is getting warmer. They mean that the average global temperature is increasing, which causes unpredictable weather patterns, which doesn't always mean it's going to be unseasonably warm. It just happens to mean that right now. And choosing winter themes in winter still seemed like a good idea to me when Tiffany and I chose these games several weeks ago. So I'm sorry that it's not cold. Maybe you're grumpy about it, and these games will help get you into more of a chilly spirit. If not, don't worry, they're still super fun, okay? Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to come off so hostile. I don't know what's got me all worked up. Maybe it's how excited I am to play these games. Without any further ado, let's get into the games for this month here at Game Nights with JR. First up is a lovely new little game I had got called Payback. This is a game about, well, if you couldn't guess, revenge. That's right. This is a cutthroat, short little card game that's guaranteed to end friendships and lose people. So I think you'll really enjoy it quite a bit. It plays up to 6 players and it only takes about 10 minutes. So it's a nice little filler game or a good starter game, or if you just love listening to the lamentations of your enemies, a good game to play all night long. Next up is a game I've been wanting to get to the table for a long time and just haven't ever done it. So even though it's not particularly like wintry themed, I decided to go ahead and bring it out to the table in January. It's called Between Two Cities. This is a Stonemaier game, so the same company that makes Scythe and Vantage and Apiary and a bunch of other terrific games. So you know it's going to have great components and innovative gameplay. And sure enough, that's what Between Two Cities is. Each player is building 2 different cities, and just for grins they give you little landmark as marker pieces of real cities. So there's like an Eiffel Tower and a Gateway Arch because Stonemaier Games is based in St. Louis. There's like a building from like Bangkok, one of the big famous towers there. I think there's a Sydney Opera House. Anyway, bunch of fun different places, and that doesn't really matter anything other than just you get to use a fun accent and pretend you live there. The thing that makes Between Two Cities really interesting is that the 2 cities that you're building, you're working with the person who's sitting to your right or to your left. So if I'm working on one city to my right, I'm working with the player on my right to build that city, and you're laying out tiles, drafting tiles, and then adding them to your city in ways that maximize the number of points. You're also doing the same thing with the city on your left with the player on your left. The neat trick is the city that has the highest lower score wins. So you can't just forget completely about one city and go all in on your other city and try to maximize your points, because it's the lower of your 2 cities that determines your final score. And so it becomes a really interesting game that has a surprising bit of strategy and makes it feel cooperative even though it's ultimately not. So those of you who don't love the cooperative games, I will be very curious to see what you think of Between Two Cities. It's also a relatively quick game. You only draft over 3 rounds, so it moves really fast. And once you get the hang of it, you'll probably want to play it a couple of times to see if you can maximize your lower score and be the best city planner. Next up is a perennial favorite at game nights with JR. It's The Thing Infection at Outpost 31. We had this at New Year's, and we've had it at several game nights over the last year because people love to play it. It's a social deduction game like Werewolf or Mafia or Bristol or any of those. The difference is it's all mapped onto an actual board game. So you're actually playing a board game. You're completing missions, you're working with other people, you're rolling dice. And so, unlike most other social deduction games where someone who is like the bad guy, the werewolf or the mafia person or whatever, mafioso, those people actually have to do stuff or they automatically lose the game. In The Thing, it's entirely possible to just sort of lose the game through bad luck. And so it makes it easier for the thing to stay hidden as you're trying to remain under the radar but still sabotage some missions. It also features an interesting mechanic where, as the game goes on, it's most likely that there will be more imitations introduced, but they don't know who each other are. So they could be working at cross purposes with each other and all kinds of stuff. It always ends up being a really fascinating game, and it plays up to 8. So playing with a full contingent of 8 people is just a riotous good time. This one is one of our most requested games. It also is based on one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I think you'll really dig it if you haven't. And if you have played it before, you're excited to see it back in our January lineup. Next up is another brand new game that we featured at New Year's Eve, but I picked up at Board Game Geek Con, and that is called 12 Rivers. Remember Plinko on The Price is Right, where you'd go up to the top of that pegboard and drop the thing down and they'd try to score that? That was one of the games I always thought would be the coolest to play, and 12 Rivers actually sort of emulates that. This is a game where you are drafting marbles, but the whole board is slanted and it's rivers that the marbles run down. So you get to place various barriers to stop marbles at different points to get to draft them, and then you place them in your scoring area in various combinations to unlock chains of scoring and stuff like that. So it's a set collection game ultimately, but the fun of it is battling with your neighbors to see who's going to draft the marbles earliest and best and all of that kind of stuff. And there's something really satisfying about releasing the marbles, which in this game are pearls that you're collecting, into the river and watching them all kind of trickle down and stop at the various places. It's a really tactile and really fun game. Am I slightly worried about losing marbles at the various bars? Sure, but that's the price you pay for sweet games like this. So I think it'll be a great time, and I think you'll really enjoy Two Rivers. It's a relatively short game. I would say even learning it will take you 45 minutes or fewer to learn, and I think you'll really dig it. The art's cute, and it's a really fun, cozy little game with plenty of competition. Last but certainly not least is our Player's Choice game for January. Every month, our patrons get to vote on a game that they want to see featured at game nights, and this month it was Flamecraft. I'm not surprised, even though I didn't vote for this one, because Flamecraft is an adorable, cozy little game where you are collecting and firing artisanal dragons to generate various resources for your little town that you all live in. The art is adorable, as you can see, and it's basically a worker placement game, but you're building an engine sort of in the town by placing the various dragons and the different shops that give you different abilities and things like that. And what makes it kind of fun is that the engine you're building is a collective engine, so everyone gets to take advantage of the good work that your little dragons did. And that can mean that people steal the stuff that you are going to do or block you from various places, or that in order for you to do the thing that's really going to get you those good points, you've got to give a little bit of a benefit to someone else. So it's collective, but it's not cooperative. And in fact, it's collective in a way that might drive us a little bit crazy if you're competitive enough. So Flamecraft has been at a couple of different game night, featured in a couple of different months of game nights already. It's a huge hit every time it comes to the table with people who have played it before or with brand new gamers. And I think you'll really dig it if you haven't gotten to play it. And if you did, you're probably one of the patrons who voted for it. So thank you so much. We're excited to get this one to the table again. There you have it. Those are the feature games that we're going to have at our game nights this January. Thanks again to all of the patrons who made this possible. And don't forget that our patrons only barbecue is coming up just for you on Saturday, January 17th. So we can't wait to see you at that. Of course, if you're not a patron, there's never been a better time to join right at the beginning of this new year. Get in on another amazing year of gaming together, making new friends with some of the most fun games that you've never heard of. So can't wait to see you at a January game night. Make sure to check the listings to see where those are. You can find our upcoming events in the description for this video, or of course check Instagram or any of the other places that we post that stuff. If you have any questions or want to request a future game, of course don't hesitate to drop a comment below. But we'd love to hear what you're most looking forward to playing in January as well. Until game nights, take care of yourselves out there, be kind to one another, and come ready to play.